Alright, hello everyone and welcome to Frontman Racing Season 3, Round 7 of Tier 2. We're here at Brazil for a normal race weekend, so we've got an 18-minute quali followed by a 50% race which will be 36 laps long. I'm just going to invite a couple of drivers back into the lobby. It seems a couple of them had difficulty joining the session, so I will invite them in and hopefully we'll get underway. So we'll get some of the 5 best telemetry enabled lap data, track map. We want the full map on. There we go. Pardon my lack of commentary in advance. I'm not too used to being in this part of the game. I am normally on the racetrack, but we'll quickly run through the standings for Tier 2 at the moment. So, in first place in the standings is Bad Boy with 139 points, followed by Night Owl on 82 points, so a very, very big margin there between first and second. Then we've got Ranger on 69 points, Weckers with 65, just 4 points behind Ranger. RNG Merit 43 points, A13th Nightmare 37, Looney Moo in 7th in the standings with 34 points, Remaster with 29, not quite the 2016 Mercedes domination that AlphaTauri were hoping for. Josh the Sick is on 26 points, Fixby Grind, who's not near the group, on 24, Extra Steve 23 points, and then with Alki Boot on 13, Will Darrell also on 13, Reese Max on 12, and FRR Harry with 1 point. Kieran 6-7 still yet to score points this season. We are 7 rounds in, so hopefully he's going to get on the scoreboard in tonight's race. The Game Enduro as well in the same boat as Kieran. Just going to adjust my audio settings. Just turn down the headset volume. As Harry making his way through, I believe he's the first car on a lap. Actually, it's Reese Max. Purple sector 1 is 17.2. See how we can get on in the middle sector. The Mercedes, I believe, is recovering from the track. As I have to send yet another game invite out. Reese Max having a decent season so far. A relatively new driver. It's only his second or third race with us, so he'll be looking to get some more points on the board as we go further into the season. Looks like a decent middle sector though, not a bad lap. I anticipate pole position to be somewhere in the 1 minute 7s, maybe a 1 minute 7.3 or 4. Or perhaps maybe towards actually the 7.7s to 0.8s. Definitely not a 121.0 though. 1 minute 9.4 for Reese Max, puts him in provisional pole at the moment. What can Harry do? 1 minute 10.1, obviously a mistake in there. As a McLaren of DTYT spins at turn 3, he is on Discord saying he reckons that he has some pace this weekend. Well, hopefully he can keep it out of the wall. As FRR Harry's on a 17.1 in the first sector. See how he moves forward as West Hampton at 7.9, very closely followed by Bad Boy and then 5 minutes back to Josh to see as the main people are getting their first runs out of the way. A little bit deep into the final corner there, so FRR Harry lets him compromise his run up the hill. No better than a 1 minute 8.4. Recovery from spin. RNG Merit. Class. Just 6. Joined the lobby a little bit late, so you can see the FFL training. Looks to be sort of calm and collected for the middle sector at the moment. Two very important factors coming up. Thank you, Dr. Dove. Hopefully that audio is much better. I've just adjusted it and turned it down a little bit. I'm trying to deafen everybody. 8-8 for Josh, 6, that puts him in P4. Just set on that time. That's another invalidation for DTYT in the first sector. A13 partner looks like he's running massively deep into turn 1. A13 partner, a decent driver to say. He's been in good form and he's often been there to pick up pieces when it's not quite on that particular run, but 30th mark, they've had a decent start to the season. His first season with such a race, and he's often been there to pick up the pieces when his teammate hasn't had a good weekend, and Rango, who's a good driver but he's still quite spin prone when it's not quite his day. We saw him have a very difficult weekend in Belgium, and he ended up retiring from the race. That seems to be everybody's first run, or at least first attempt out of the way. Will Darrell wants yet another invite. Let me try and invite him a different way. Through his gamer card. There we go, looks like he has just joined in to the lobby. Let me just adjust my audio settings further, just to make sure that people have got a good viewing experience. Volume's alright when you're not on board with cars. Okay, we'll try and stick in the broadcast camera where applicable. And Josh EC has invalidated his lap, so I anticipate he'll be rebuilding the battery ready to go again as drivers are coming out of the track for their second run. Efra Harry on an out lap. Decent first sector for Harry, but he's unfortunately there just invalidated his lap. So that won't stand no more. Gaming Duo looking to improve from his currently quite poor lap time. Doesn't look like he's in the right car. I don't remember Gaming Duo driving Mercedes at any point in the season. Could have to investigate that. I do remember him being in a slightly different car. Will Darrell has retired from the session. He has a qualifying ban. Why? So he'll take no further part in this qualifying session. Ranger on an out lap, trying to prepare the car. Got flagged. 3CYT actually 2-1 for our drivers. Pulling in running out for their drivers tonight. See what he can do. He's been enjoying the game a little bit more recently, building his confidence, but a little bit of oversteer. Confidence to be the first sector now, maybe he will definitely be going again. Ride on board with Ranger to go into turn 1. A decent apex put out there by Ranger. A decent run through the CRS there. We'll go down the rest of the go down towards turn 4. Got a car getting out of the way and move break just after 100 metre board, 5th gear through the apex of the corner. Ranger opts to go down to 4th gear and then take a flowing line. Difficult corner, this you've got to carry the speed but also keep the revs up as well. You don't want to be losing momentum up the wheel and the difficult braking going. So good couple of corners negotiated there by Ranger. He's going to feed the car out to the right hand side. Hopefully doesn't get the right field. Hasn't managed to duck just out of the way. Nicely on the power for Ranger, not too much steering on the spin car. Good little sector, purple actually, so the best of anyone so far. Not a bad run out of the final corner, but they've definitely been better. Head towards the line now. Could Could this be provisional pole for Brandon? We'll very shortly find out. Formula 8.026 puts in P2 just marginally in front of Bad Boy, but is also on a flying lap. He's marginally down on his sector 1 time. Let's see what he can do through sector 2. Well on the power there, making his way down the wheel, nice and smooth on the steering as well. That's a purple sector 2. A very, very good exit out of the final main corner. Nice flowing line up the wall, takes the line of good position to the finish line. And at 7.983. Puts in P2 again, very, very close at the top. With 8.13 up there, sets at 8.5. Just a 6 on the start of his lap. We'll look for someone a little closer towards the end. Has invalidated. Reece Max is in 10th as Kieran has moved up to P7. FR Harry coming to the end of the second sector on his lap. Needs to improve if he wants to get anywhere towards the top 5. Purple sector 2 apparently, but outbroke himself into the final corner. He's just going to be slow all the way up to the hill, just looking speed where he can do actually under a couple of tenths improvement, if any. Yeah, long at 9.3, puts in P10. Alfie Boone on the lap, but he's Alfie comes into the pit lane. So he gets back out after a fresh set of tyres at the end of the session. On board with Brandon a little bit deep into turn 1, compromised his run through turn 2 and 3, but looks to be smooth acceleration nonetheless. The half car and kind of steal a little bit of braking about 75 metres from the apex, slowing the car out to the right hand side. As we head up the hill, downshift into 6th gear, half throttle to the apex. That's a spin for Brad there, who's actually made contact with the Williams and retired Reece Max from the race. He's taken his front left wheel clean off. So that is Reece Max out of qualifying through no fault of his own. I'm sure Brad will be quick to apologise for that. There's not much he could have done. He was having his own crash. But Brad will be fully aware. He's responsible for his own car, and I'm sure amend that situation with Reece. Just having a quick drink of extra P2, just coming down to start a lap. He'll be struggling to get a decent lap on the board. Probably took the 1 at 8.5 really. We wanted to move closer to the front, maintaining good. Short shift into 5th gear, that's a very early short shift, but it's meant to get a very clean run in the ZRS. Keeping the tight line down the straight to eventually push the car out to the right hand side. Braking about 75 metres from the corner. 4th gear through the apex. Good acceleration, a little bit of wheel spin on the third direction, will compromise his line slightly, but he'll get away with it. He's picked up a little bit of understeer, first apex in turn 5. He's managed to pick up these 2 apexes nicely, keeping it in 4th gear to minimise the wheel spin. Very smooth on the throttle as well. And then a good apex picked up at this corner as well. Good apexes and good exits, but I feel like he's lacking a little bit of apex speed. He's a little bit too slow, but a purple set 2 to shut me up. Let's see what he can do as we head up the hill. A good exit out of the final corner. Shouldn't this be provisional pole for extra speed? 179.89, not quite. 4 drivers all separated by less than a tenth of a second. And then just sick in 5th place, marginally outside of that 10th off pole. Very, very close qualifying. Very quick driver on his day, but also a little bit speed slow. He'll be looking to pick up some better form in the second half of the season. See what he can do on what he's likely to do. 1 and only time lap should he definitely not bail out of his first attempt. Let's ride on board with the AlphaTauri guys from the broadcast angle. DRS wide open, speed across the line approximately 203 mile an hour over the start finish line. Hard on the brakes into turn 1. Second gear, not really sure why. You want to be in 4th or 5th gear coming through. turn 2. Remaster does like to shift down a position here to make sure he gets his front ended. Sometimes his compromise has gone out. But a purple sector 1 nonetheless, so a good couple of corners there from Remaster. And a clean exit off turn 5 as well as we head down towards the double apex of turn 6. He's missed the first apex slightly, but he's managed to get the nose back in by shifting into fifth gear. He's lost momentum up the hill, so he's going to be fighting against the timing in this middle sector. He needs a very good exit off this corner, hoping to make the sector 2 split. Purple sector 2 from Remaster, 51.6 as we head into the last sector. It is a decent exit off the last turn as well. He's going to take a nice flowing line up the hill, take the line to least the distance to the finish line, and it is a 1 minute 8.276. That puts him P6. So not a good final sector there for Remaster. If he's lucky, he might get one more going before the flag. If he doesn't recharge that now, he'll be able to send it one more time to Ranger on his final lap of the session. 16.8 and a purple sector 1 for Ranger as we head through turn 4. Decent on the traction, nice flowing line through turn 5. He's going to be wanting these cars to get out of his way as he claims the apex in turn 2. This is a decent lap there for Ranger. He's turned a little bit early at the top of the hill. He's had to get out of the steering. He might get away with it though. The rest of the middle sector, he's going to be wanting his hands out of his way, which they do get. As Ranger has unfortunately bottled that lap there. That is also been just going the wrong way. FRR Harry has allowed out in the second. Wekhaz has just started what will be his final lap. Can he improve and keep his pole position? The Bad Boy has also started his lap, but we've seen pole protagonists starting their lap near enough the same time, about 10 seconds at that time between 16.8 and marginally down on his time so far with Wekhaz and maybe to improve in the middle sector. Grabs an apex nicely. A good exit off that corner as well. A nice apex at the top of the hill. We wind our way through the middle sector. Feed the car out to the right hand side in a straight line back to the It's got the front end in nicely as well. A great exit off the corner. Even some lag with some oversteer, and assume some lag. Braking into third gear, short shift to fourth, and a great exit off the corner. Could this be a good hole for Wekhaz? DRS wide open, the line, normal racing line actually, that's out of the lap. Very strange. What the Bad Boy do? And he sets hold. 1 minute 7.8 by near enough 1.5 tenths. That is Bad Boy on pole position unless Nightowl has got anything to say, but it looks like he has backed out. We've already set these business that I may have missed. Apologies for that. RNG Merit looking like a decent improvement. Getting towards the low 1 minute 8. Stays. Actually advances up to P9. The Gaming Duo is validating his lap, so that is that for qualifying. We've got Bad Boy on pole 1 minute 7.8 and 1.5 tenths back with Wekhaz and ex-Josh's C. Ranger very close behind him fourth. Gaming Duo, Nightowl in fifth, and then we've got Josh's 6th in 6th. Remaster 7th, Apex 6th, RNG Merit in 9th. 267 rounds out the top 10 as FRR Harry quite a way back there in 11th. Reese Max unfortunately got terminal damage in qualifying in 12th. Harry in 13th. Gaming Duo in 14th. And leading me in 16th. No time steps in qualifying. Just be waiting for the Gaming Duo to retire. Just need to capture a screenshot of the qualifying results. Just going to take a couple minutes break while we load into the race session. Okay, so the formation lap has begun then. Let's have a quick look and see what everybody's tyre is. We've got a mixture of mediums and hards to start the race. Pretty standard for F1 22. Everyone opting for the mediums with the exception of 4th and 5th place Ranger and Night Owl. 7th place Brewmaster. FRR Harry in 11th, starting on the hards as well with Looney Moo, Will Darrell and Bradford CYT. Excuse me, at the back, all starting on the hard compound tyre. They're going to look to pit around lap 22 to go onto the mediums. These guys starting on the mediums, they're going to pit around lap 12 to 14 onto the hards to go to the end of the race if there is no safety car. Hopefully we can have a race of actual racing instead of safety cars, in which case everyone will be able to get on with their evenings. If Bad Boy can take another win, he'll have basically one hand on the championship trophies. We wait for the rest of the grid to form up. Bad Boy's going to slow down on the run to the grid. Doesn't want to sit there for too long. Doesn't want his tight attempts to go down, which will put him at a disadvantage during the race. We can see a spin from Wekaz as everyone's doing burnouts to get some rear tyre temp. So it looks like Brewmaster has been DSQ'd from the formation lap for one reason or another, as the rest of the grid is forming up. Rang has managed to get himself disqualified. When you actually get disqualified from the formation lap, it brings your car back in the grid slot, which means you're starting closer to the people behind you, which obviously is not what you want off the race start. So Ranger may live to regret that decision, as Brad seems to be taking his sweet time, as it also missed his grid marks. Okay, wait actually for the lights to go out on the players' screen. They've gone out on mine, but not on the players. Here we go, we are away. Bad Boy with a very, very good start indeed, and will lead them away into turn one. Ranger already up to second place as well on the hards. Will there be any spills down the back of the field? Looks like everyone's made it through the CELERS cleanly. We've got a couple cars off, but nothing major. No one in the wall, as Kieran 67 looks to have had a spin that just put him down to the back of the field. And we are 3 wide in there. Alfie Boo making moves off the start. Kieran doesn't look like any damage on the front of that Williams, so he'll be looking to catch up to the pack, as Bad Boy leads through the middle sector on the medium compound tyres. Ranger in second, just 6/10 behind, as it looks like X-Josh, you see, he's had a spin at turn 6 on the opening lap. That's undone all of his progress. Alfie Boo looks like he's joined him in that endeavour. So that's a couple of free positions for the Game Enduro and Kieran 67. Bad Boy looks to be stretching his legs out front as we're coming to the end of the first lap. Bad Boy has already managed to get out of, or temporarily was out of the 1 second DRS of Ranger. That'll be very important as Weckers is looking down the inside, late on the brakes, claims the apex of the corner, and through into second place goes Weckers, bringing his Red Bull up into second. Ranger slotting in behind in third. If you're starting on the hard compound tyres, it's important that you pick your fights. You don't want to be scrapping with the medium runners at the start, because it's going to come to you as your stint goes on. You're going to get faster. These mediums have got about 6 fast laps in them before they're basically on par with the hard compound tyres, and from that point you're going to be gaining. If Ranger can save his battery and just stay with Weckers, he'll be in a very strong position in the second half of the race. As we've had a Mercedes of FRR Harry look to have a spin in the middle sector at turn 6 again. He looks like he'll manage to rejoin safely as Joshi has spanned 2 laps in a row at turn 6. That is quite the achievement. Bad Boy, who leads 1.1 seconds back, is Weckers and 8/10 back to Ranger, with just half a second gap in front of Brewmaster. We'll bring up the telemetry of the cars there so we can see how much battery everybody has got. Ranger there sitting on 57%, Brewmaster with basically a full battery, then Josh is stick with 78%, and then Night Owl as always with less battery than everybody else, but he's might pay dividends as lap 3 DRS is enabled. Night Owl's going to be looking to get past the Hasselhoff and G-Merit down the inside into turn 4, late on the brakes, looks to be job done. Nothing really that Merritt can do about that. He's going to have to slot in behind, save some battery and get back past. As the McLaren of DTYT has had yet another spin this weekend, he's going to rejoin the race in maybe 17th place, make that 18th. We can see the lead pack already beginning to break away from the midfield as a Mercedes of the Gaming Duo has had another spin at turn 6. So we can see the top 5 having a decent start to the race, but then we've got a 3-second gap back to Night Owl, and this means Night Owl sitting with no slipstream, no DRS, and is purely at the mercy of the pack behind. All they need to do is stay within 1 second, and Night Owl will not be able to catch the cars in front. It's just a DRS train. So if Night Owl's going to pull away, it needs to be done on merit through the middle sector and getting out of that DRS window. As Weckers has caught right up to the back of Bad Boy as we head into the middle sector. Bad Boy with basically a full battery. Weckers looks like he's done a lap of deployment in order to get back into that DRS as we follow into the middle sector. Good tactics for Weckers would be to sit behind for a few laps now and just rebuild his battery as Kieran spins and therefore rage quits. That is unfortunately disqualification for 2 weeks in a row for rage quitting the race. If you wish to retire from racing front and racing, you must bring yourself back into the pit lane and retire from the race properly and not rage quitting on track. Unfortunate. But let's see what Weckers can do. Is he going to deploy the battery? He is. Slipstream, very, very powerful. That's the worst camera angle in history as Weckers is looking to take the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. He's going to look to the outside and Bad Boy's not even going to fight it. That's good. Good tactics. They need to keep pulling away from these hard compound runners as much as they can. Bad Boy is going to come back at Weckers though as we go down into turn 4. He's looking to the outside. Weckers later on the brakes and claims the apex of the corner. Great defending there. Let's see if he can start to pull away in the middle sector as we've got another spinner at turn 2 and 3. It's Alfie Boot. His race going from bad to worse. Unfortunately, he did have a very good, I think, 4th place finish in Belgium last week, as DTYT has already been lapped after multiple spins for him so far this race. The Gaming Duos pitted onto the hard compound tyres. We'll look to send those long and hope for a safety car. As Brewmaster has spun in the sector 2, demoting him almost out of the points yet. 12th place out of the points. as the top two are scrapping again for the lead of the race. No deployment from Weckers on this straight. He's going to take the lead anyway down the inside. Bad Boy not going to fight it too much. He wants the DRS down the second straight. DTYT retires in the pit lane, probably about time as well. Using the battery down the rest of the Costa into turn 4, Bad Boy will claim the apex and therefore the race lead through turn 4. All of this scrapping is meaning they're not necessarily pulling away from Ranger, so the longer they scrap, the better Ranger's chances of winning this race towards the end. All he needs to do is stay within sort of 5 or 6 seconds by the time the pit window comes by, and then he's going to be on the quicker medium tyres in the second half of the race, and we'll be able just to drive up to the back of these two in front. As we can see, the gap between 5th and 6th is increasing as I predicted, as Brewmaster has left the session. Maybe that is as he was retired probably in the pit lane and therefore left the session. As the Game Enduro has managed to spin in the final sector, that's probably going to be significant rear wing damage and probably a retiree. But the Game Enduro, not totally sure how he managed to do that, but I would not be surprised if he retired yet. There we go. Yep, Ranger is just driving up to the back of these two now. Once I get the worst camera angle in history. Brewmaster not having the season that he wanted. Is driving, unfortunately, is the main problem there. It's not bad luck, it's not anything to do with that. It's unfortunately all in his own hands. We'll be looking to get some better results strung up in the second phase of the season. But not the way he wished to start after round 6. How's Brad getting along? Looks like he's making his way through the field steadily, as Josh, you see, has had probably another spin in the middle sector. Brad will be looking to get out of the 1 second window of A13th Nightmare, to try and catch up to the back of RNG Merit. He's got 3.5 seconds between them, as Merit looks to be hanging on to the back of Night Out. In other news, at the front of the pack, we've got the top 3 all in at the same corner. These two scrapping in front has allowed Ranger just to drive clean up to the back of them. If Ranger is smart, which is a big if, we must admit, he'll just sit behind this, and in 4 laps they're going to be out of his way and in the pit lane. But Ranger's always up for a fight, so I anticipate he'll be down the inside of the first corner that becomes available to him. So let's see how this pans out. It's important, if he does go for the overtake on Weckers, he has to do it efficiently. Racing efficiently is one of the best skills you can have in your arsenal. You need to do things that gain you the maximum time, the minimal possible effort for both your driving and time loss when doing an overtake. If Weckers falls outside of the DRS, it will mean Ranger can isolate him, can take the slipstream and can take the DRS away from him and be able to drive past him. As Ranger gets a little bit of oversteer out of the main, final main corner of the track, and that has meant that he's fell outside of the 1 second window. So he'll be looking to get back in there. He's probably going to deploy a little bit of battery to try and get back in there, as Weckers is closed right back up to the rear wing of Bad Boy. Nothing doing there for Weckers on this particular lap, as A13th run is right up behind Brad, who I anticipate is just saving his battery. It appears so. Nightmare on the faster tyres. The ERS, even though he's got 2%, and the DRS, he will go in front of Nightmare there, brings himself into 7th place. As it looks like Night Out is about to pull away out of the DRS of Merit, and that will mean he will drop in over the next few laps as well. Rang up right back into play though. Looks like Weckers has had a little mistake in the middle sector on this lap, which means he's going to be outside of the DRS. Will he get the DRS up the straight? Will he duck back in by using battery? No, he will not. That is huge for this race. Ranger is now sitting in the DRS. Well, the car in front does not, but it looks like Weckers has managed to creep back in using the slipstream at the straight, and will therefore have the wing open again as we go down towards turn 4. I'm trying to think of the name of that corner. I know this straight is called the Retroposta, but I don't know what this corner is called, but I'll call it the corner where Verstappen forgot how to race. There we go. It's controversy. RNG Merit closing back up. We've got Harry fighting Will Darrell over the final points paying position. We've got a little bit of field spread here, so a safety car would mix this race right back up. Unfortunately, the retirees have sort of meant there's a lot more field spread than we would like, with Kieran going round in 13th as a ghost car. And Josh, you see, probably coming up to a lap down when he pits again. A mistake from Ranger again, it looked like, on the mini-map. But Ranger looking to prove me wrong and actually racing with some intelligence for a change, and not going to try and get past, but just sit there. The pit window for the medium runners is going to be opening within the next lap, really, that 12 to 14 when you want to be pitting. If you're good on the tyres, you can maybe take it out to lap 16. As we can see, Wekhaz is officially out of battery. He's going to be flashing at the top of the hill here. He'll probably get about 7 or 8% back in the middle sector, but not much. Such is the importance of saving the battery. Bad Boy there on 90%, so he can defend all he likes. As Josh, you see, has had yet another spin and will most likely be retiring from this race. Yeah, Josh, you see, pulling into the tyre. Probably made more pit stops than flying laps set, so there we go. That is a retiree for Josh, you see. In the pit lane, leaving 13 runners left, with the exception of Kieran 67's ghost car. Bad Boy's missed the apex in turn 1, so that's invited Wekhaz to be looking down the inside. And we move to be on board with Wekhaz now. Will he look to take the lead into turn 4? He's not got a lot of battery to play with, but he does have DRS open. Late on the brakes, over the apex of the corner. Bad Boy coming back at him through turn 5. This is a very, very narrow straight. They'll do well to stay side by side here. One of them will have to concede. It's going to be Bad Boy living to fight another day. As we're going into the middle sector. Ranger is in a very, very good position to take this race, as Nightmare picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He's down in P7. He's managed to pull away from Brad slightly there as well. Brad is in sort of a little bit of no man's land at the moment. He'll be looking to close back up in the second phase of the race. Night Owl actually for once has a full battery. He's chilling on 95%. He'll be able to defend as the lead is changing yet again. Bad Boy looking down the inside of Wekhaz. Wekhaz needs to fight this as hard as he can and try and drain the battery of Bad Boy. But nothing doing into turn 4 on this particular occasion. We can ride on board with Reese Max and Will Darrell. Will Darrell looking to claim another World Championship point down to turn 4. Reese Max no battery left. Will Darrell DRS open, looking down the inside. Managed to get that move done and dusted, nice and clean racing there as the Williams slots in behind the Ferrari as they go up the hill. And got Looney Mood just going through the ghost car of Kieran. AI's only set to about 85, so it should be easy work to get past and like that. Harry started on those tires, probably a couple spins, so he is actually net last place as well. So he really does need to be catching up, but before the medium runners pit, which is not going to be long. What can Bad Boy do? Round the outside into turn 4. Wekas is going to yield on the inside and has allowed Bad Boy to get round the outside of him. This is some great racing as we're back side by side up the hill towards turn 6. Someone will need to concede. Ranger's probably going to be looking down the inside here if they're going to cost each other too much time. Bad Boy's a little bit deep into... Ranger's a little bit deep through the first part of the middle sector, but he's managed to benefit from these cars all with the domino effects of the cars in front. He's right behind Wekas. It looks like he's had a massive moment in the long left-hander. Very tricky when the tyres get worn. Another oversteer snap there for Wekas as we go up the hill. He's not got any battery to deploy to get back past, so Ranger moves into actual second place in this race, looking in a very good position to take the victory when he pits onto the medium tyres. Worst camera angle in history, as Ranger, I'm sure, will deploy the battery to close back up to Bad Boy down this straight. Look at just 0.4 of a second as we go into the middle sector on lap 15 out of 36. Ranger runs wide and gets himself a 3-second time penalty. That's going to work against him at the end of the race. All's looking fair game as we run through the middle sector again. We'll go back to Will Darrell and Reece Maxes. Reece Maxes looking round the outside, braking at the same time. Will Darrell's managed to claim the apex of the corner, takes the racing line on the exit as is allowed, and Harry has to slot, Reece Max has to slot in behind. So that Williams is looking a little bit more dialed in the middle sector, such as the medium compound tyres at the moment. Very weird throttling because I assume it's the traction control. Harry has got Looney Move for company for the last World Championship point. No, that's Reece Max has had an oversteer moment. Those medium tyres are starting to die as Ranger is looking and fighting for the lead. He's managed to get back past Bad Boy. Bad Boy's looking for the outside for turn 4. A little bit of wheel banging, but all is fair game. Ranger's going to push Bad Boy out to the outside of the track. He has to concede as we run through the middle sector. What a lovely camera angle that is. Every driver hitting the same apexes at the same time. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, as Bad Boy almost runs into the back of Ranger, that's going to invite Wekas to have a look round the outside. Bad Boy outbraking himself. They're too used to being in first place this season. As we're looking up the hill, Wekas late on the brakes down the inside. More wheel banging. Bad Boy looking for the switchback. He's going to slot in behind though, has to surely for the DRS. Yeah, that means that Ranger is now in the lead, 1.4 seconds clear of the medium runners and in a great position to win this race come the end of lap 36 if he can stay out of the DRS and then pull away on the mediums in the second part of the race. As Night Owl slowly beginning to close in now as Bad Boy and Wekas both come into the pit lane. These next few laps for Ranger are crucial. The next 5 or 6 laps of the race, he needs to maintain pace of Bad Boy and Wekas on their fresh hard compound tyres. Then he needs to try and come out same in a distance as he was before to mean he can be in a good place to win the race from. As a particular viewer is irritating me very much. I do not have a dust cloud as it should so occur. Ranger pushing on now through the middle sector. He needs to try and keep those track limits warnings to a minimum. And where I have Wekas and Bad Boy rejoined, obviously right next to each other and 6.5 seconds behind Brad. As you can see Wekas weaving a little bit there, try and increase the surface temperature of the tyre, which means it'll give him more purchase through this middle sector. I wonder if Bad Boy's got any damage to the front end of that Haas after running into the back of Ranger. Have to see as the race unfolds. Wekas a poor exit out of that corner though, inviting Bad Boy to look for a switchback. This could be the lap that Bad Boy will take the position from Wekas on the run into turn 1 as Joshua Sick pits from the second place after doing 17 laps on his medium compound tyres. That is a good stint there. As Bad Boy is surely going to come past Wekas into turn 1. Use the battery, man. 70%. Uses that to pull in front. Wekas will slot in behind. He wants the DRS down the second straight. The more they bicker, the more they scrap, this will all play into Ranga's hands, and they rejoin it from the pit lane. Josh Sik has rejoined just a couple of seconds, or maybe just about a second behind these two. So if they keep scrapping, they're going to get caught by Josh Sik, and that's only going to benefit Ranga in the long run. As the tyre compound tyres, they're going to look to go at least another 5 or 6 laps, approximately lap 22, 24. They'll be looking to pit, and Will Darrell looks very sketchy through that corner. A13th Nightmare has also recently pitted. He's come out 2.5 seconds behind the McLaren of Looney Moo. The only McLaren left in this race, as DT Whiting was the first retiree of the session. The normal driver Fixable Ryan not quite able to make the race tonight. We've gone over the halfway mark. RNG Merit is looking all at the rear wing of that as Bradbury CYT retires in the pit lane. As I believe he has an esports race or something like that at 8 o'clock, so he'll be looking to practice for that. But thanks Brad anyway for joining the grid tonight. And a good stint there on the hard compound side. So we can see 13th Nightmare is actually out of battery. That's what that red light means coming out the back of the car. So Merritt will see that, he'll know that he has the battery advantage, and he'll be able to close up and pass A13th Nightmare within the next couple of laps. We only have 12 runners left now, but we've got battles up and down the field as Reece Max is looking down the inside of Harry 1408. We're side by side through turns 2 and 3 with the AI of Kieran looking to get in there as well. As the AI has actually overtaken them both. There's Harry 1408 down the inside and has taken that position from Reece Max there as they continue to fight up the hill. Will there be contact? There's a small bit of wheel banging, but that is Harry round. Unfortunately, the car on the inside is always going to be disadvantaged from that sort of contact there, particularly through a corner. So that's setting back a second and a half there. He's had to recover the car from the grass. He'll be looking to catch back up in the next few laps and get past the Williams of Reece Max. The car of Kieran 67 is not going to be included in the end results, as he is not actually driving the car himself, so there's nothing to worry about for those two drivers with regards to that. Let's have a look at the overall gap between the drivers. So gap from the leader hopefully is something that we can look at. Yeah, there we go. So we've got Weckers and Bad Boy both 20.5 seconds off of Ranga. To my recollection, that is not a pit stop. As Ranga comes into the pits, we are about to find out. Ranga manages to get it stopped before the marks and comes into the pit lane. He's going to need every advantage he can get. He's going to need purple turn-in timing and a good stop from the Aston Martin crew to get him out in the lead of this race. Night Owl inherits the provisional race lead, but he's still yet to stop as Bad Boy and Weckers are absolutely flying down this straight here. Ranga's already off the pit lane limiter, and he's going to rejoin the track in the provisional race lead. This is going to be very, very close on the pit lane exit. Absolute battery burning there from Ranga, but he's out in between the two drivers on the faster tyres and in a very, very good position to take this race lead. Bad Boy only 25% of his battery left. Ranga's sitting there pretty on 85% of his battery. Night Owl now needs to burn that and get into the pit lane and see where he comes out. He's going to come out in between, I believe, 4th and 5th place, maybe just in front of Josh Sik there in 5th, as we've got the Mercedes of FRR Harry in the pit lane with 16 seconds worth of time penalties and another pit stop to his name. Not ideal, as Merritt picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limits warnings. Night Owl stays out another lap, perhaps looking to go for the softs at the end. If he can get to sort of lap 26 on there, he'll be very much looking for the softs, as Ranga is already all over the back of Bad Boy. He's going to look to take the lead. If he's got a brain, he's going to do it at turn 4, but he's decided he wants to do it now. Down the inside, Ranga goes. He now needs to make sure he can maintain the lead on the run down to turn 4. Bad Boy is going to burn the battery all the way down the straight, but so is Ranga. DRS open for the Haas drivers. Not quite got enough straight line speed to get back past Ranger. So Ranger takes the lead of this race. Thing is now, can he use those medium tyres while they're still fresh and use them to pull away from the Haas car through the middle sector? We will find out soon enough. The gap is already 0.7 of a second. As we switch back to the interval setting on the menu, 8 tenths already. Ranger needs to get out of DRS on this lap so he can use those medium tyres to his advantage. 9 tenths of a second now. Let's head down one more corner to get out of the DRS. He's probably going to have to burn the battery as he sets a purple middle sector. He must get out of DRS this lap. It is race critical for him. He has just about managed it. I do believe Bad Boy is not going to get the DRS, and he's also out of battery as well. So is Weka, so it's all falling into the hands of Ranger as Night Owl is making his pit stop. Looks like a change of front wing there for Night Owl. He's been in there a very, very long time. As Ranger is now over a second clear of Bad Boy and looking to pull away. If only he knew that the car behind him had no battery left. There's no way of him knowing that. You'd be mashing that button like there's no tomorrow. Bad Boy also picks up a 3-second time penalty, which means Wekaz will take the win if it stays like this. We've got any other close battles on track. We've got Looney Moo just coming through the ghost AI of Kieran, so nothing doing there. And we've got Harry in the pit lane, as unfortunately retired from the event, so that promotes FRR Harry into what is 12th place on the road. Bad Boy's managing to stay within the DRS of Ranger. Not ideal. Ranger will be hoping to be pulled away by now. Be 2.5 seconds up the road. But you can see, such as the grip of the medium tyres, how quickly he can get off the first corner and be straight on the power through turns 2 and 3. Which means Bad Boy can't get anywhere near him, as Night Owl has decided also to retire in the pit lane. Not totally sure why. Probably the damage to the front wing that I think he got. He spent an awful long time in the pit lane on his stop. Unfortunate. Night Owl was saying he was coming for second place in the championship, but I don't think he's going to be achieving that if he can't even get to the end of the races. As this looks to be the closest battle on the track at the moment, as Night Owl's retired car makes his way down to turn 4, pull in. Bad Boy out of battery but sitting in the DRS, which means all they're doing now is pulling away from Wekaz, who needs to start making some inroads if he wishes to stay in contention for this race win. Looney Moo's managed to get through the AI of Kieran 67, which is good. And then Merritt is now looking to get past A13 currently. The Season 1 Tier 2 champion is RNG Merritt, so he knows how to move through the field. Full throttle through turns 2 and 3. And 8 tenths back from 13th that I met on this particular occasion. The Aston Martin out of battery like it always is, as Rang is stretching his legs out in front, 1.4 seconds as it stands. He needs to start building that gap out. He's got about 3 or 4 more tenths to get before he's 3 seconds in front of Wekaz, and is therefore on track to win at this race. Bad Boy losing a lot of time. He's definitely out of battery. There's some fighting pressure from Wekaz behind, who is also out of the battery as well. Ranger there with 65%. Needs to push on, use a bit of that battery and start to cement his position at the front of this pack. Wouldn't be long before Ranger is going to be looking to lap FRR Harry here. If Harry comes another cropper. Taking a quick break just to have a drink. Okay, I am back, and the situation is very much the same. Ranger leads 1.6 seconds in front, and then 1.2 seconds behind Bad Boy is Wekaz. That gap needs to be 3 seconds between first and third. If Ranger is going to win this race on the road, he is 2.5 tenths away from an actual P1 finish on the road. That will get his championship back on track, though. He's going to need Wekaz to finish in front of Bad Boy to gain some more points in this case. But he's sitting there, 76% battery. Bad Boy and Wekaz both going through the phases of recharging their battery, not using much deployment at the moment. If only Ranger knew he could push on and get out of the 3 seconds from Wekaz, but it looks like he might do that anyway, as the medium tyres will be beneficial to him in the middle sector of the lap. As Josh is having a decent race. He's in no man's land at the moment, that must be said. He's 9 seconds off the lead, but he's a good 12-13 seconds in front of A13's Nightmare behind, who's got RNG Merit for company through the middle sector of the lap. And then another 11 seconds back is the Ferrari of Will Darrell, also in a bit of no man's land. He's about 4 seconds in front of Looney Moo, who'll be looking to catch him up towards the end of the race. We've then got Reese Max coming out of turn 4, and then a long, long way back is FRR Harry, with unfortunately 16 seconds of time penalties to his name. 79% battery. And the Ranger, Bad Boy and Wekaz arrangement is just getting ever closer to him. I anticipate he's going to be lapped before the end of the race. Another 3 second time penalty, that is 19 seconds. That might be a record, I think. I know FRR Harry certainly has the record for the most times disconnected in one race, at about 17. And I imagine he might have the record for the most time penalties acquired as well. As Ranger is now more than 3 seconds in front of Wekaz. That means that Ranger, if it stays like this, will win this race on pure merit. He needs to use his battery. He's trying to save fuel. He's got 8 laps of fuel left when there is, unfortunately, 10 racing laps to go. So all of these drivers have underfueled their car with the exception of Wekaz. So this will be very, very interesting towards the end of the race. Bad Boy, it's got 6.7 laps of fuel left. You can see that in the top right of the dash. Let me hide that. 6.5 laps of fuel. The very top right of the dash is how many laps of fuel is left in the car. Bad Boy here, 3 laps of fuel. Ranger with 7.5. Wekaz, after having a spin though, has absolutely bottled it. He's the only one of the top 3 that has enough laps of fuel to get to the end of the race, and he's bottled it. This means that Josh is sick. He could win this if he can get past Wekaz. He has enough fuel to get to the end of the race comfortably. You can see the fuel light on him is not flashing. Anyone whose red fuel light is flashing means they do not have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. But these guys are going to run out of fuel with still 2 laps left of racing. So they are, with Bad Boy in particular, looking to come a cropper. He's not saving the fuel. He's still pushing through. As we can see, Ranger is trying to adapt his driving. He's been doing a little bit of lift and coast since coming out the pit lane on his mediums. To try and, you can hear that there, where the car is no throttle input, but also no brakes. So he's saving fuel. And trying to eke his car to the end. You can see the amount he's lifting through the middle sector to use as little fuel as possible, which means he'll hopefully be able to get to the end of the race. He's managed to get back within the threshold required, as he's had a lot of oversteer there on that curb. The Bad Boy, as it stands, is still going to run out of fuel on what will be lap 35 of this race. As the 2 Red Bulls are now line astern, as Wekaz has unfortunately thrown away what could have been a race win. He's thrown it all away. 4.8 laps of fuel left in that Haas as FRR Harry comes into the pits again. probably going to go for fastest lap, if not retire. And it's now a lap down from first place, second and third, with A13 Nightmare and RNG Merit going for it here. The fuel light also on the Aston Martin, but he's got 6 laps left to go, so he should be absolutely fine. Merit has also got 6 laps, no fuel warning light. The Haas team obviously think they can get to the end. What is Nightmare going to be saying here? Will he look down the inside into turn 1? No, he won't. He's going to slot in behind and potentially get down the inside into turn 4 and get a good exit, which he has. Merit only 12% of battery. You've got double his battery, lad. He's going to close in as we go into turn 4, but not looking for the overtake on this particular lap, playing the long game. Fuel light is back on the Aston Martin. 3.9 laps of fuel. Bad Boy can finish off podium. If that Haas runs out of fuel, he's going to be ruling. I can't believe what I'm reading in my iMessages here. Oh my days. Bad Boy though, because he's not saving his fuel, he is closing back up to Ranger. He can overtake him all he likes. When he's going 4 miles an hour and he's out of fuel, it's not going to be nothing. F1 Harry, 22 seconds of time penalties. That is more seconds in time penalties than drivers on the grid tonight. Astounding. What an effort. Will Darrell picks up a time penalty as Harry, I think, recovered from a spin or whatever he's been up to. I'm really not totally sure what is going on there, but it's not Formula 1. Ranger has got the fuel warning light. 2.8 laps of fuel left in that Haas. As it stands, Bad Boy is going to run out of fuel halfway through lap 35 of this race. And Ranger will just about make it to the end. The low fuel kicks in at, I think, 0.4 of a lap of fuel remaining. That's when low fuel mode comes on, and you get slower and slower and slower the closer to 0.0 you get. As there's now just 2 laps of fuel left in that Haas, with 3 racing laps to go. So if Ranger can hold on, keep it on the road, he will come out of Brazil as the race winner with milliliters of fuel left in that tank. He's got to think, when does he commit to outright lap time over the fuel saving? He's right on the border, as Bad Boy's got 1 lap before that Haas starts to splutter. With just 1.2 laps of fuel left in that car. The static red light means that car is going to run out of fuel, and we will be on board when it happens. There's no other particularly close fights going on, as Merit has managed to get past A13 tonight. There's been a quiet race for Merit, but he's been making progress through the field over the course of the race. Obviously the retirees helping him, but he's had good speed, and he's managed to get past the Aston Martin, and he's still unfortunately 20 seconds behind the Red Bull of Josh Sick, and Weckaz has obviously managed to distance himself from there as well. A little bit more pace in the lead Red Bull this season. Bad Boy, 0.7 laps of fuel remaining. And he picks up another time penalty, so regardless of what happens now, Ranger will win this race if he doesn't get another track limits warning. There's half a lap of fuel left in that Haas. Run out. 0.4 laps. He's going to have to be losing power now. 0.3. You have to just commit. He must be in low fuel mode. 0.2 laps. Yeah, this is it. And a massive reduction in power for the top speed of that Haas. As Ranger is just driving away from him now. Yeah, there we go. He's gone. And he's still got a whole other racing lap to do as that Haas is completely out of fuel. Will Wekhas catch him and take... All he needs to do is get within 6 seconds. And he's got the fuel to do it. Go, Wekhas, go. He needs 4 seconds. And every inch that they drive, that Haas has even less fuel in it. And he's going to be catching, and catching, and catching, and catching for the rest of this race. With the low fuel mode, he's not going to lose too much during this middle sector, but the run to the line is crucial. I think he's just about going to hang on to second place, unfortunately, to me. But it's been a great race. Entertainment throughout provided by these top 3 drivers. And it's going to be Ranger, who's had a brilliant race. He's going to come over the start-finish line to win the Brazilian Grand Prix. Well done, Ranger. A great race, great strategy. Really, really well played. Will Wekhas take the position from Bad Boy? He won't. By 1.5 seconds, Bad Boy comes home in P2. Wekhas P3. Josh is sick in P4 with the 2 5th and 6th places. A13th, Nightmare, and RNG Merit. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Merit very, very borderline on fuel. I think he's ran out of fuel on the run to the line. Looks like both the cars have, with no safety cars this week. It's going to mean that Will Darrell is also out of fuel. No one's got enough fuel to make it to the end, with the exception of Reese Max. FR Harry, of course you've got enough fuel. You unfortunately are a lap down. Watch the final 2 drivers come over at the start finish line. And that is that for Brazil. As we await the final results. Driver of the day from the game goes to Looney Boo. However, the drivers will vote on their driver of the day after the race on in the Discord server. We'll watch the Ranger's driver come out to the podium. And I can't believe you've got that podium emote, but you've probably done that more times on F1 than you have on Pro Clubs, so that's fair enough, Ranger. Ranger takes the win. It's confirmation of the results then. Ranger takes the provisional win from Bad Boy in 2nd place. Wekhas in 3rd, Josh Isik in 4th. Another good outing for the 2 Red Bulls. A13th Nightmare in 5th. Good points haul by Aston Martin as well. And Haas with the 2nd Haas driver, RNG Merit, finishing in 6th. Looney Moo in 7th. Kieran will be disqualified as he was not driving his car. That is Will Darrell that will take 8th place. Reese Max in 9th. FR Harry will take the final World Championship point there in 10th. With DNFs of both Alpha Tauris, both Alfa Romeos as well in there. So that is unlucky for the 2 of them. As we were just going to capture a screenshot of the results there. Just need the penalties to get out of the way of the screen. Great stuff. Alright, well, that is all from Brazil. If you like what you see, feel free to get in touch and we can get you into the server and you can do all the racing that you like with us. We've got 6 rounds to go of our final season on F1 22 before we move to F1 23 with details about the new game coming, well, expected to come out on Thursday. we're all looking forward to that. Catch us next Monday live just before 6 o'clock for Tier 1 as they head into Singapore, and then we'll be back at the same time next week for Singapore for Tier 2. Thank you so much for watching. See you all next week.